In a dramatic display of political theater in Wisconsin, an event that promised to be a straightforward rally quickly transformed into a stage for intense public scrutiny and charged rhetoric. At the center of the controversy was Elon Musk, the world's richest man, whose presence on the stage was marked by a fervor that both captivated and divided the audience. The unfolding events have drawn a stark contrast between public accusations directed at billionaire financier George Soros and Musk's own contentious actions during the rally. The rally, held in a politically pivotal state, was far from a subdued political meeting. It was an arena where emotions ran high and the lines between political commentary and personal agenda blurred. The event was punctuated by raucous applause and heated interjections, with members of the audience vocally targeting George Soros, alleging that he had funneled money into Wisconsin to influence local politics. This narrative, steeped in long-held partisan accusations, was swiftly countered by a critical examination of Elon Musk's own conduct on stage. During the event, Musk's actions drew sharp criticism for what appeared to be a blatant contradiction. At a time when he vehemently denounced Soros for allegedly paying for protesters to sway public opinion in Wisconsin, Musk was seen distributing checks to attendees, a move that many interpreted as an echo of the very tactics he condemned. Such actions have ignited a debate about consistency and accountability, with observers questioning whether Musk's public pronouncements stand up to scrutiny when measured against his personal methods. Esteemed political analyst Kara Swisher recently weighed in on this phenomenon and drawing a parallel between the methods employed by political operatives on both sides of the spectrum. Swisher pointed out that Republicans have long excelled at constructing narratives by identifying a villain, a role that figures like George Soros have repeatedly been cast in. According to Swisher, the current situation presents a striking example of the same tactic being applied in a mirrored fashion by those who are equally critical of left-wing interference. In this light, Musk's actions on stage can be seen as a deliberate strategy to deflect criticism, despite the irony that he was effectively engaging in practices similar to those he decried. Beyond the immediate theatrics, the incident in Wisconsin underscores a broader strategy at play. Elon Musk's public display of handing out funds and openly participating in what some critics have called a vote buying is not an isolated episode. Rather, it is part of a calculated test of a method that could be replicated across the nation. In previous elections, similar tactics were observed in Pennsylvania, and this time, Wisconsin appears to serve as a proving ground for what could soon become a national blueprint for influencing electoral outcomes. By distributing money in exchange for signatures on petitions and, by extension, votes, Musk is taking a bold stance that not only challenges traditional campaign norms, but also invites a critical examination of the role of private wealth in shaping public policy. Economic considerations add another layer to the unfolding narrative. Elon Musk's aggressive business practices have not been without significant consequences. His decisions have resulted in dramatic cuts to staff amounting to nearly 50,000 job losses and the displacement of another 75,000 workers through various corporate restructurings. These measures have not only affected the livelihoods of many, but have also contributed to a noticeable decline in Tesla's stock value, which has fallen by nearly half. This downturn in the company's market performance underscores the potential risks and long-term impacts of the aggressive tactics that Musk employs both in his business dealings and on the political stage. So, critics argue that while Musk publicly lambasts others for what he perceives as undue political influence, his actions reveal a different reality. His willingness to engage directly in activities that resemble the very buying of elections he criticizes has not only damaged his reputation among certain segments of the population, but has also raised serious questions about the ethical dimensions of his approach. The data on public sentiment is telling. Musk's favorable ratings have plummeted dramatically among Democrats, from a high of +35 to a stark -91, while only modest improvements have been noted among Republicans, whose support has inched from +18 to +51. Meanwhile, more Independent voters have also shown a marked decline in support, shifting from a modest +17 to a negative rating. These figures suggest that the backlash is not confined to one political faction, but reflects a broader concern about the growing influence of billionaires in American. Adding to the complexity of this narrative is the role played by political figures such as Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation. Duffy's remarks during the rally were unmistakable in their intent, urging voters to rally behind the Republican candidate for the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Duffy painted a picture of an imminent battle against a radical left that purportedly seeks to undermine not only traditional values, but also the very fabric of American democracy. His call to action, to mobilize friends and family, to head to the ballot box, was framed as a defensive measure against the encroachment of big money and partisan manipulation in the electoral process. Duffy's message resonates with a broader narrative that is being carefully cultivated by certain segments of the political establishment. By positioning Musk as a victim of left-wing antagonism, Duffy and his allies are seeking to normalize and even legitimize the billionaire's controversial methods. This framing is particularly significant in the context of the upcoming elections, where the stakes are high and the strategies employed in one state can serve as a bellwether for national trends. The implicit warning is clear. If the tactics being tested in Wisconsin prove successful, they could herald a new era in which the influence of personal wealth over the democratic process becomes not only accepted, but expected. As the investigation deepens, it becomes apparent that the incident in Wisconsin is emblematic of a larger crisis in modern American politics. It raises critical questions about the intersection of money, power, and democratic governance. The events of the rally highlight a disturbing trend in which influential figures are increasingly able to leverage their wealth to shape political outcomes, often in ways that undermine the integrity of the electoral process. In this scenario, the actions of Elon Musk serve as a stark reminder that no one is immune from scrutiny, regardless of their public persona or financial stature. The implications of these developments are far-reaching. For many observers, the use of financial resources as a tool to sway political opinions represents a dangerous precedent. The fact that a billionaire can be seen openly distributing funds as part of a calculated strategy to influence elections not only calls into question the fairness of the process, but also threatens to erode public trust in democratic institutions In the coming days, as Wisconsin prepares for its crucial vote and other states watch closely, the broader public will be forced to reckon with the reality that American elections may increasingly become arenas for financial power plays, rather than genuine democratic contests. In closing, the investigative report on the recent rally in Wisconsin has uncovered a series of contradictions and strategic maneuvers that merit serious consideration. Elon Musk's actions on stage, when juxtaposed with his public denunciation of similar practices by figures like George Soros, reveal an alarming inconsistency. His efforts to influence the electoral process by distributing money, a tactic that has now been observed in multiple states, underscore a broader trend in which the democratic process is vulnerable to manipulation by those with substantial financial resources. Ultimately, this report serves as both a warning and a call to action. As citizens prepare to cast their ballots in critical elections, it is imperative that they remain vigilant and informed about the forces at play. Our democratic institutions depend on transparency, fairness, and a commitment to the public good. The events unfolding in Wisconsin are not merely a localized political skirmish, but a signal of deeper challenges that threaten the very foundation of our democracy. In light of these revelations, it is incumbent upon every voter to ensure that their voices are heard, and that the integrity of our electoral system is preserved against the encroachment of big money interests. The future of American democracy may very well depend on the collective effort of an engaged and informed electorate.